Hi, I'm Bob Lutz. I'm the pickleball instructor for Tucson Parks and Rec. I'm an IPTPA instructor. I'm also a PCI certified instructor. I've been teaching for about 7 years now. I've been playing about 9. The class we're going to go through here today is a little different than I normally do. I'm normally with a class here at the rec centers, but we're going to do a video so you all can learn pickleball from a remote site. I will start with beginner classes or beginner instructions, and then I'll move into some more beginner advanced or advanced beginner stuff towards the end. So pickleball is a game that we play with a paddle, short-handled paddle. It's not called a racket, that's tennis. So we have a paddle, and we have a pickleball, which looks like a old wiffle ball that we used to play with when we were kids. They're a little bit bouncy inside. They're a little different than playing outside. There's 2 different balls. We have an indoor ball, we have an outdoor ball. So I'll explain a little bit of that as we get along and get into some more of the other stuff. Pickleball is more of a finesse game. It's not a bang, bang like tennis is from the back court. We want to play up here at this, what we call the kitchen line or the non-volley zone line. This is where most of our game is played, is up here. If we stay back, we give opponents too much area to play with and hit balls at our feet or angles. So we want to stay up here with our partner as much as we can. 90% of your points are going to be scored up here at the kitchen line or the non-volley zone line. Because that way, when we're here, we have a greater advantage to block balls. We can drive balls back at the opponent's feet. We can drive balls between them, and we can hit angles to keep the balls away from them. I'm going to have Cindy come over. She's my assistant today. She's going to get on that side. We're going to show you a little bit of warm-up or just a drill for you beginners. If you don't have a court to go out on, you can do this in your garage. You can make up anything to throw the ball over. Just make it 34 inches high. Move back 7 feet on each side. And all you want to do is just practice throwing the ball over the net and dropping it into this zone, the 7-foot zone right behind the net. And this is what we end up calling dinking. This is just to get you to learn how hard and how far to throw the ball. Once you do this, do it for 10, 15 minutes till you learn that touch. Then what we do is we take our paddles, and now we do the same exact motion. And all we do is bump the ball back and forth over the net. Same motion. We don't want to hit very hard. It's a really soft touch. And we just touch the ball back and forth over the net. Same as our throwing. Nice and easy, controlled. Everything comes from our shoulder. We don't use our elbows or our wrists in this. We just want to push with our shoulder. Nice, easy push. As you see, I don't hardly move my paddle. It's just a nice, easy push. And all we want to do is get the ball back over about 1.5 feet above the net and let it drop into the kitchen. Okay? If you can get the ball in the air when it comes over, definitely grab it in the air like that, soften it, drop it right back in the kitchen. Okay? This is what we call dinking. And this is the biggest part of the game. If you don't learn this, you won't advance in pickleball very far. Okay, so also now instead of just going straight across the net like we were doing, if you have room, you can go cross court, what we call cross court, going side to side with the opponent on your opposite side instead of straight across from you. So that's a little easier because we got a little farther to hit the ball. We don't have to be as gentle. We still just give it a nice push, and it's all from our shoulders. If you can hit the ball in the air, definitely grab the ball in the air. All right, that'll be your cross court. Now you work backhand, it would be this direction. If we step over and switch sides, now we're doing our forehands. So you want to work both sides. Make sure you work your forehands, work your backhands, because you got to learn to be able to go cross court everywhere you do that. Now, I don't know if you can see, but there's a pink line here. That's what we call the non-volley zone. So I can't be here, and if the ball is in the air, I cannot step in here and hit it in the air. That's a fault. I have to leave the ball bounce and play the ball. If the ball bounces in there, I can step in and get it. If the ball is up in the air, I have to stay behind this line with my feet, and I can only punch from up here as far as I can reach. You can't punch and hit the ball and then step in. That's still a fault on you. So you have to stay with your feet behind the line, keep them about an inch or two back. You won't fall in if you keep your balance. This kitchen work, there's a lot of work on your thighs and your buttocks. So just do little squats at home if you haven't played this game before or haven't started. Just do some little squats like this, just to get your legs, knees used to doing this, because this is what you're going to be doing most of the time. We squat and we push. We squat and we push. You don't have to do, deep squats. That's not necessary. It's just like you're going to go to sit on a chair. Squat down, and we squat down, we play. Squat down, we play. A lot of our movement is from our legs first, not our arms. Okay? If you don't have a net, or you don't have somewhere where you can play over something, take a wall. If you have a garage or whatever, carport, backyard, put a tape up 34 inches on your wall, measure back 7 feet, make a mark, or tape, whatever you have, and just practice touching the ball up against the wall. See how many times you can do it. Let it bounce, hit it back up against the wall. Let it bounce, hit it back up against the wall. That's a good drill to do. Also, when you're at home, if you have a paddle and ball, this is a great drill to learn. When you're at home watching TV, wait for the advertisement to come on and do just touches. See if you can do 100 touches in a row without missing. If you can do that with your forehand, turn your hand over with your paddle and do 100 on your backhand. So we're going to do 100 forehands, 100 backhands. When you can do that, then we do forehands and backhands. And all we're doing is rotating our wrist. All right? And then you can get 100 of those. If you're in my classes, that's probably one of the tests you're going to have at the end of the class to see how well you're doing and if you're doing your homework. Okay. Okay, so for you that are starting out, maybe some of you have already played, we're going to show the serve and we'll show the return. These two shots you have to have in to get your game started, so it's a very important part of the game. So serving, there's 3 parts to serving. We have to have our paddle in an upward arc when we swing for our serve. The ball has to contact the paddle below my belly button. They changed it. It used to be the waist. Now it's the belly button. And I cannot have any edge of my paddle above my wrist. So I can't serve like this. I have to serve this way. Paddle below my wrist. That's 3 criteria to your serve. The other one is you cannot step on the back line or step into the court when you serve. So you have to be behind that back line. I like to give myself a little room, so when I step, I'm at least a foot away from that line, and I'm not going to have any chance of someone calling me on a foot fault. All right, so all we do with serves, I like to bounce the ball a couple times. I give the score, take a breath, serve the ball. Okay, my assistant will send it back to me. Now when you serve, you don't want to stop and punch. It's just a nice fluid hit and follow through. Take your time when you do it. Don't rush yourself. Follow through. Try to hit your serve as deep into the court as you can on your opponent. The deeper you serve that ball where it lands back in here, the tougher it makes it on the opponent when they're trying to return the ball, because they have to leave it bounce. So when that ball bounces way back here and you push them back this way, it's a lot harder shot for them to get back onto the court than if you serve a really short serve and now they come all the way up to the net and now they're already at the net on you. The objective of this is to keep your opponents away from the net. Don't let your opponents to the net. We want to get to the net. Okay, that's your advantage. So it doesn't matter if you're serving from the even side or the odd side of the court, you still want to serve it as deep as you can. It doesn't have to be a rocket serve. You're not going to ace many people in pickleball. You can hit a hard, low one. You can hit a nice, soft, high one. It's whatever's working for you. If your opponent can't return those, then you just keep giving them the same serve until they learn how to hit it, and now you change and go to something different. So this next part is the receiving part of the game. My partner now is going to serve to me. I'm going to return. Now her serves are going to try and be as deep as she can to keep me back. My objective now is to return to that team as deep as I can. So your serve and your return are almost identical. You want to get them as deep as you can on the court. You want them to bounce. I have to leave it bounce once. And when it goes back over the net to the serving team, they have to leave it bounce once. So it's what they call the two bounce rule. It's not like tennis, where tennis you can come in and volley the ball out of the air. We have to leave it bounce once on our side when we receive, bounce once on their side when they are serving. So this is what that will look like. Your returns are same strokes as your serves. Okay, we turn, drive the ball back as deep as we can. If I keep that ball to that back line, she's going to have a very hard time of returning that back to me. Forehand, same thing. Those balls are all dropping within 2 feet of the back line, and that's what we want. Okay, now, on the other thing you want to remember when you're returning is try to return to the middle of the court or try to return to whoever's serving it, to their backhand. That gives you, when we hit balls down the middle, we have a much greater chance of keeping the ball in the court than if I try to hit the ball down the line. If I hit down the line, I have 2 or 3 feet where I could miss and go out, and I give them the point without them having to do anything. If I drive that ball down the middle, I have more chances to keep it in the court, 5 or 10 feet on each side of the court I have. That causes problems with the 2 players over on that side. Sometimes they don't know who's going to go get the ball. They have to decide who's getting it and who's not. And it's also a much easier shot to hit straight across the middle. On our pickleball nets, the middle of the net is 2 inches lower than the ends of the net. So if you're hitting through the middle, you've got 2 inches that you got to spare there that you may hit the net on if you try to go down the sidelines. So most of our shots should go down the middle. I tell my classes 90% go down the middle, the other 10% go down the middle. That's how important it is. All right? Okay, so I hope that given you a little information on pickleball. When you get into the classes, you'll definitely do a lot more. And once you get out here and you've played one time, you're going to be hooked. You're going to want to come back, and you're going to want to play. Also, while you're home and you're not in classes yet, do some stretching. Look up something on YouTube or any of those platforms. They all have good stretching platforms. It shows you how to stretch your upper shoulders, your upper body, stretch your legs. Your legs, you definitely want to get them working because this is a moving sport. It's not a standstill sport. So make sure you get in a little bit of shape before you come out. I don't want to see you coming out here and play for 5 minutes and then have to go sit down. You know, get in a little bit of shape before you come out and take the classes. All right, so hopefully we'll see you in the classes. And my name again is Bob Lutz, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you in the pickleball classes. Thank you.